back to Time with Tammy. I hope you have enjoyed our previous sessions. As we said, we're going to continue those. And it's been Tammy's first official Sunday, first staff meeting, official staff meeting, first official worship planning, even though she's been here for a month. And so I just want to ask you, Tammy, how's your first week been?
I think it's been a good week. The first worship service at Camp Lee went well, I thought. It was interesting to see how creative y'all have been with worshiping in person, with drive-in worship in the middle of the pandemic. Enjoyed getting to hear Davis preach there. It's been a good week here in the office, a short one with us being closed on Monday. So we had staff meeting and worship planning yesterday. Y'all had a wonderful scavenger hunt prepared for us yesterday and cake.
Yeah,
So you
what
can't
was the
complain about that.
scavenger hunt like? What was that all about?
The scavenger hunt was interesting. I believe that was Emily's creation, and Jason helped her.
Yep, I think so.
And for those of you in the congregation, Emily supposedly put our names into a random generator to choose teams.
It was not random. Lies. This is not true.
But the
I don't believe
three wonderful staff members who don't have the connection to Methodism in this church ended up on Kyle's team.
It was rigged. It really was.
And your seminary educated folks ended up on Davis's team. And so our clues were things like, where was John Wesley born, which was a clue to go to Epworth, and the first bishop of the Methodist Church, which would have been Asbury.
Right.
And then hymn 357 encourages people to do this. Which is just as I am, but having the music person on our team was a little helpful.
Yeah, a little helpful.
But I also learned that you have some competitive staff members. I won't name any names.
I have
Kyle,
no idea
Davis,
who that
Chris,
is.
who will do whatever it takes to win, including hide clues,
I didn't do that.
eavesdrop on the other team, and run at breakneck speed through the building to try to be the first ones to finish. But it was a lot of fun, and it got us interacting and laughing. And then they had wonderful cake back in the office as the finishing we got through, so it was good.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun. I think we had a good lunch. We had a good time together. Tammy got to see a lot of our building that she's seen, but now she has names to associate with these buildings and realizes how what she's got to look out for, right? So you got these people who will cheat, not naming names, Davis and Emily, and then other people who, they just like to have fun. So we've been talking about some serious things, and I've got a series of silly questions for you today. All right, so peanut butter, crunchy or creamy?
Crunchy. I'll eat either, but I love crunchy peanut butter.
So do you get to keep it on hand, though, or does Joseph prefer one kind, and so you've got to get
creamy peanut butter, and Joseph and I do not share containers of peanut butter because he doesn't like the way I scoop it out. He eats it with a spoon like a popsicle, and then he has to smooth the top back, so we don't share because he says I stab the peanut butter and I leave it gouged. It's peanut butter. You spread it on bread. But we don't share. But he will always choose creamy. And if I don't want to share with him, I'll buy crunchy.
Very good. Okay, sushi. Love it or leave it?
I will occasionally eat sushi, but it's never something I'm going to wake up and go, "Ooh, I'd love to have sushi today."
Well,
not a sushi person.
We have some good sushi places. Might just have to try some.
I'm always willing to try.
Okay. Okay. All right. So, what's your guilty pleasure?
Okay. So my guilty pleasure, if we're talking about food, is going to be powdered donuts. Preferably eaten in the car and never taken inside, so that I don't have to share them with anybody. That's my guilty pleasure. If we're talking about just the guilty pleasure of like wasting time and downtime, it's going to be binge watching shows, and my go-to is reruns of The West Wing, which are now on Netflix. And
is that a 90s show?
Yeah. Martin Sheen as the president. Rob Lowe. Yeah. Love the character of C.J. Craig, the press secretary.
Okay.
Admired her. Becomes chief of staff before it goes off. I just like the show, and I have watched it so much that I can repeat the dialogue And Joseph's like, I don't know how you can keep watching it over and over because it's a good show.
I think my mom watched The West Wing when I was growing up. Sorry. That's just what came to mind.
Yes,
It also,
she probably did.
she also watched Judging Amy. Isn't
Okay,
that the
I
same
remember
time
they
period
were
kind of
about
thing?
the same time period. Yeah.
Okay. What's your
Yeah.
favorite movie? What's the best movie you've watched recently?
Recently, I haven't seen a lot of movies recently, to be honest.
I will include recently to be within the last 5 years.
Oh, I still don't know the answer to that one. You might have to edit that one out.
Okay.
I can give you the best movie ever.
Okay.
Um, our favorite movies ever are Funny Farm and The Money Pit. Now they're older. You probably haven't seen them. 'Cause
I have
if you haven't
not
seen The
seen
West
them.
Wing, you've not seen these movies.
Yeah, you're really inhibiting my ability to ask follow-up questions when you.
Okay, so The Money Pit is a Tom Hanks movie.
Okay.
They buy a house, and it turns out to be an absolute money pit.
Well, that makes sense to me.
Because once they started remodeling, everything in the world was wrong, and they learned to just live with this constant construction going on in their lives.
That feels like our house.
Mhm.
It's not a money pit, but there is
Yeah.
constant construction.
Funny Farm was a family, Chevy Chase,
Okay, yeah, I
going
know
to be a
him.
writer,
Yeah.
moves out to the middle of nowhere and buys a house in what seemed like this idyllic, small, rural town. And the town turns out to be crazy. So, like, the mail carrier is drunk by the time he makes it all the way out to their place, and so he cackles and throws the mail out the window. I mean, and so we bought our first house in a very small town, and we still have very tender feelings about that town, but it was a little unusual. You saw the eccentricities, which always just makes me think when people move to our small town, they probably
Right.
feel the same
I
eccentricities.
think I may have served in some of those places some point in time. Well, okay. All right. So superpower, what would it be? If you could have any superpower, what would you have?
Superpower. I want to say fly, but I'm afraid of heights,
I was
so
about to
that's not
say.
it.
Okay.
I was thinking getting somewhere quickly.
So like teleportation.
Probably the superpower I'd like to have is invisibility.
That makes
Because
sense.
when you didn't want to be seen, you couldn't be. When you needed to get something done without distraction, people couldn't see you. But you could go where you needed to go, do what you needed to do.
Okay.
Got to
That-
be able to turn that on and off, though.
Yeah, you'd have to be able
Yeah.
to do that. That makes sense, though, as an introvert, like you said last week, that
Mhm.
you wouldn't want to.
And honestly, that's probably because we watched the Fantastic Four this past weekend,
Oh, so it's on your mind.
and she goes invisible.
Okay, so serious question. What do we need to know about you that we have not yet discovered in all of these videos? Can you think of something that we just need to know? We have
You
to know
need
about
to
Tammy.
know.
It's gonna just reveal and make it all make sense.
It's probably that I have a little bit, some people may have picked up on it by now, I have a little bit of OCD tendencies. If you were to go into our home in Glencoe and open the cabinets, you would find labels on the shelves inside that tells you what item goes on that shelf. And my pet peeve is to mix the forks. There are salad forks and there are dinner forks, and they don't go in the same slot in the drawer. And I cannot eat unless all the cabinets are closed. And I will randomly, I have a dear friend, Charlotte, and she always buys us M&Ms. And without thinking, I will just randomly sort the M&Ms by color. So I have a little bit of OCD tendencies.
So what you're saying is, if I want to pull an insidious prank on you, then I would go in your office and de-alphabetize all of your books, open the sliding doors,
Yes.
and open all of your drawers.
Be a good way to derail my day.
So that would derail your day completely. That's not
would,
even
it
funny at that
would.
point. You've just ruined it. You have
'Cause I
ruined
would-
my day.
Because I would have to fix it.
Okay.
I would have to fix it. I have learned to relax a little bit since having children, because nothing will teach you not to be obsessively organized like having children, particularly boys.
Yeah.
Boys are dirty
Mhm.
and disorganized.
Mhm. Yes, we are.
Mhm.
Sounds very familiar. Well, I hope you've enjoyed this session of Time with Tammy, and I hope you'll submit your questions that you have for her. Text them to her, email them to her. You can email them to me as well, and we'll make sure that they get included. And I hope this has been meaningful to you, even though it's been a little bit silly today. Not really your first time
Yeah.
being here for a month, but how was it?
Well, the first Monday was really wonderful because we were closed for the holiday. But I thought the first Sunday went well. Enjoy being at Camp Lee with everybody. Davis did a good job on the sermon. Oh, you didn't turn it on. Yeah, I think I'm on. I'm on.
So why is this so hard? Jason,
Jason, don't put that in there.
That's why you don't film in the afternoon.
Yes. Didn't we say that last week?
Yep, it's
We're
that
better
2
in the
o'clock
morning.
feeling. Yep.
Okay. I think my first week has been good. Really enjoy being with everyone at Camp Lee on Sunday for worship. Thought I got it right.
You did. I'm so sorry. Okay. All right.
Okay. I would say I think the first week is going well.
I'm sorry.
Oh.
Okay, just get it all out. Just,
Okay.
ooh.
Okay.
So, Tammy, how was your first official week?
This may give them more information about the first week than they want.